stories of previous boxers or where it actually, they decided to end a career because of an unfortunate situation. So, and I'm glad that was in the situation for Valdez. Who knows if Belcher will continue boxing? Because I'm sure that was a scary moment, not only for him, but for his corner. And also, at the same time, where does it come to of the referee as well to, or for any evaluation of referee making the right call, or not making the right call of ending that fight sooner. Because I'm sure, I'm not the only one. There were other voices that were out there and saying, that fight should have been stopped rounds ago.
Yeah, I'm sure the WBC, I'm sure that they'll do their due diligence and they'll watch the fight again. They'll do their evaluations and look back on the fight and see if the referee could have stopped the fight or if anything could have changed in that 10th round. But as it is, it's a part of history. The fight's over. Valdez wins. By the way, he grew up in Arizona, so he's a local kid. Give him some props. Yes.
I did not know that until until the fight was starting or occurring. I was like, okay, some hometown representation there, which I thought was neat.
Go ahead, homeboy. Yeah. I see you. Yes.
But yeah, I am just so happy that Belcher is recovering from that those blows, because those were tough to take, not only, I'm sure not, to take, were not easy. So,
Joanna, the human body is not designed to take that kind of punishment, especially facial shots like that. A straight on punch like that. We're not designed like that.
Mm-mm.
God did not make us to take punches like that.
No. And I have so much respect for fighters for boxing, because they really are, and they know this. They're putting their life on the line for sport, and they know that something bad can happen out there in that ring. So yes, I do have, so much fun and a lot of excitement occurs when watching these matches or these fights. But that's one of the things I always have in the back of my mind, because I watched boxing and I grew up watching the sport, and I've seen time and time again so many situations. And, that's one of the things in hindsight. It's like, okay, also keep this in mind. They are human and a lot of things can go wrong. And we've seen it happen. So, but yes, which is why I have even the utmost respect. And one of a family friend is a boxer. So, in everything that they put themselves through, even for me, knowing that also and getting that perspective is something else too. So, yes. And I have friends too that have been in the sport or at one point did some UFC fighting and things like that too. And it's so grueling, so grueling.
Thom Brennaman said that football is a brutal sport, which it is. Boxing is just as brutal. It may not involve 22 players on both sides of a football, but it involves two men beating the what out of each other. Yeah,
it involves two people and their two fists, going at each other, which is, I don't know what's more brutal. It's either, you in helmets and out in the field and tackling each other, going literally head to head, or, in a ring with, even whether, even if it's boxing gloves and throwing punches at each other. Like, I don't know. You're still taking blows to the head. Yes. So regardless, just thought, we would bring that on and talk a little bit about that. And we'll do a little bit more boxing and the boxing talks and such. So mix it up a little bit. But that was something I just did not want to go untouched as we went on to this week's episode, because that was a event of the weekend.
Great fight.
Yeah.
Well, Joanna, I see the timer says we're at 2 hours. Again, it just timed. Where does the time go?
I know it is. We are at 2 hours. We're approaching our 2 hours, which has been so much fun and had our wonderful superstar guest, Thom Brennaman, with DialedIn podcast. He has his own podcast now, which if you haven't listened, please go out there from wherever it is you listen to podcasts as well. Check it out. You have a lot of great insight on these players and so many, super athletes, sports superstars, I should say, that he brings to you, and just get a different perspective and a different insight on them, not us who they are in the sports world, but us as a person. So I've listened to a couple of his podcasts, and they're great to listen to. Haven't been able to every single one, and I'm excited to listen in, especially the upcoming one that he has. He's splitting into two. It's going to be a real special one, but I'm excited to have Thom on and talk some more sports. Just so much knowledge there. You can just keep picking his brain for hours.
I am so excited to hear this Joe Buck interview. I know it's going to be great. I listened to a couple of them. One of them, when it really stuck to me, was the one with Coach Billick, Brian Billick. It was a phenomenal interview. Just Thom he's so relaxed with his tone and how he interviewed with Coach Billick, and Coach Billick was just it was just like their boys. They're just talking about sports and going back to Coach Billick's rise in football and how he got to be where he was as one of the best head coaches in football and bringing the Ravens a world championship. It was a great interview.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to some more. I haven't gotten to that one yet. I got to his first couple. So, but yeah. So I was very excited to have Thom on, and looking forward to having him on again. And we'll have another great guest for us next week. Tune in. No spoilers here. You have to listen in to know who our next guest is for next week. But yeah, we did miss PLR today, though. I know I did. Did you miss PLR, Ed?
Yes, it would have been great to have PLR on with Thom, and Thom meet PLR. That would have been a great matchup, right? Thom would have loved Paul, and Paul and vice versa. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
45 minutes would not have been enough for Thom.
No, it would not have. Thom and PLR, no, they need more than that. But yes, PLR, get your butt on here next week. We missed you. So, but with this, it brings our show to an end, unfortunately. But we will be back next week with some more sports talk. So, Ed, go ahead and let our listeners in on where they can find you.
Yes, right here on Inside Sports Talk on PLR's show, The Sports Cave, every Monday and Thursday. Of course, we couldn't do it on Monday because we were getting ready for the program. And on Twitter at EdCole43 and Instagram at EdwardCole301.
All right. And you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Johanna-Rosalye. That's JROSALYE. Inside Sports Talk. Make sure you listen in every week on KSRN Arizona. Starting at 6 o'clock every Tuesday night. And then we're on replay the rest of the week. And then, of course, if you've missed us on KSRN Arizona, you can also download from wherever it is that you listen to podcasts on major podcast platforms. You can find us on there as well. And make sure you follow Insight Sports Network at Insight Sports Net on Instagram. And for Twitter, it's Insight Sports, and add an extra S at the end. But with that, we leave you. We hope you have a phenomenal day and even better week ahead. Until next week, this was Inside Sports Talk.